China just dropped a 1 trillion parameter AI model, and it costs 50 times less than Claude Opus 4.6. So is America's most powerful AI about to get dethroned? Stick around, because the answer is going to surprise you. The AI war just escalated. In March 2026, two of the most powerful AI models on the planet went head-to-head. Anthropic's Claude Opus 4.6 and DeepSeek V4 from China. One is a premium, closed-source powerhouse backed by Silicon Valley. The other is an open-weight giant that challenges everything we thought we knew about the cost of intelligence. Today, we break it all down. Benchmarks, pricing, real-world performance, and who actually wins. Let's set the stage. Claude Opus 4.6 dropped from Anthropic with a 1 million token context window, and what early testers are calling the strongest coding capabilities of any commercial model. It's a dense transformer architecture, polished, reliable, and deeply integrated into enterprise workflows. On the other side, DeepSeek V4 builds on the V3 architecture with two massive upgrades, scaling to roughly 1 trillion total parameters using a mixture of experts design that activates only about 32 billion parameters per token, keeping inference costs low despite the massive model size. In plain English, DeepSeek is enormous but smart about it. It only wakes up the parts it needs. Now let's talk numbers, the part everyone cares about. On SWE-bench verified, which tests a model's ability to resolve real GitHub issues end-to-end, Claude Opus 4.5 and 4.6 are effectively tied at the top. That's the gold standard for coding AI. And Claude is right there. But here's where DeepSeek flexes. DeepSeek V4 introduces Engram conditional memory, a breakthrough that separates static fact retrieval from dynamic reasoning. Simple lookups happen through hash-based memory access rather than burning GPU cycles. The result, a model that can hold 1 million tokens in context without the typical degradation in retrieval accuracy. Engram improved needle in a haystack accuracy from 84.2 to 97% in published benchmarks. Meanwhile, Claude Opus 4.6 outperforms across 6 major benchmarks including AIM 2025, GPQA, Humanity's Last Exam, and SWE-bench verified. Bottom line on benchmarks, Claude wins on quality. DeepSeek wins on scale and memory efficiency. Benchmarks are one thing, real code is another. DeepSeek V4 shows strong performance on multi-file, repo-scale tasks when given all the context it needs. It benefits from long prompts and explicit file maps. Developers handling massive code bases with hundreds of files love this. Claude Opus 4.5, and by extension 4.6, tends to regress less when context is cut or system messages are stripped. The floor feels high. Translation: Claude is more consistent under messy, real-world conditions. Claude Opus 4.6 delivered the most nuanced qualitative analysis in tests, identifying second-order effects that other models missed. It's the model that actually thinks before it answers. Here's where things get wild. And this might be the most important part of this video. Pricing for Opus 4.6 sits at $15 per $1 million input tokens and $75 per $1 million output tokens. DeepSeek V4 is roughly 50 times cheaper than Claude Opus 4.6 on input tokens and 68 times cheaper on output tokens. 68 times cheaper. Let that sink in. For teams processing millions of tokens daily, that's not just a discount, that's a completely different budget category. Claude Opus 4.6 is roughly 19 times more expensive on input tokens and nearly 66 times more expensive on output tokens compared to DeepSeek alternatives. So if cost is your primary concern, DeepSeek wins by a landslide. But here's what the price tag doesn't tell you. DeepSeek V4 produced a comprehensive analysis in tests, but evaluators identified 2 instances where cited statistics didn't match verifiable sources, a known tendency to occasionally generate plausible but inaccurate numbers. And on the benchmark side, DeepSeek's claimed scores aren't yet independently verified. Internal benchmarks are not the same as third-party evaluations. DeepSeek has a strong track record, but until the community confirms those numbers, take them with a grain of salt. Claude, on the other hand, essentially matched its previous version's score while being faster and less expensive, suggesting Anthropic optimized for inference efficiency without sacrificing coding quality. Steady, reliable, trustworthy. So who wins? Honestly, it depends on what you need. If you need raw power, nuanced reasoning, rock-solid reliability, and enterprise-grade safety, Claude Opus 4.6 is the answer. It's the premium choice, and it earns that premium. If you need to process massive code bases at scale, keep costs low, and can handle a bit of unpredictability, DeepSeek V4 is a genuine contender that you cannot ignore. The real story here isn't which one is better. It's that the AI landscape in 2026 has split into 2 lanes: best quality versus best value. And for the first time, that value lane is legitimately competitive. Drop a comment below. Which one are you betting on? And if you found this useful, smash that like button. I'll see you in the next one.